here with Secretary Clinton. Thank you for the time.
Yes.
Last night I was debating, and we were talking about young white men getting radicalized through algorithms.
Every time one of these tragic shootings happens, everybody's at each other's throats about which side did it, but we're missing a broader pattern in America. This was another young white dude who's in his 20s. We have seen this pattern accelerating over the past decade. The same day Charlie Kirk was shot, the same exact time, there was a neo-Nazi who shot up a school in Colorado. We can look at the acceleration of the radicalization of young men through a few frameworks. There's the COVID pandemic, which had people isolated, had a bubble around themselves, and a lot of young men failed to pull that bubble down and got sucked down these algorithms. I've seen it happen to my close friends. They get sucked down these algorithms. We have foreign actors trying to sow chaos in America, sow division. How much does Putin salivate when he sees us at each other's throats? Then we have domestic actors, people like Elon Musk, riling it up.
And all of this comes down to young men, young white males, committing all of these shootings. So I guess my question is, what is your take on this, and where do you think we can go from here?
I think your diagnosis is right. I think that even before COVID, there was some awareness that, particularly young men who were gaming a lot, were becoming isolated, they weren't interacting. But then it went on steroids during COVID. And people who loved to game, but they were also out in the real world, were also isolated. And people who, used to enjoy socializing with their friends were no longer able to do that. And I think we are still living with the effects of what COVID has done to our brains and how we see the world and how we see each other. So what are we going to do about that? Here at the Clinton Global Initiative, we are holding meetings about what can we do to try to reach out to young men. It's predominantly young white men, but there are others from other races and ethnic groups, et cetera, who we know are similarly isolating themselves. And we just had a great session talking to people who are working with young men around the country. We need to include you in that. And they're saying things like, look, we've got to figure out how to change a percentage, like 23% of young Gen Z men haven't seen anybody outside their own family in the last week or month.
Yeah.
It's like a real problem because you can't run a democracy, you can't run an economy unless people are interacting with each other.
And that dehumanizes other people, and that's why you see this increase in shooting. When it comes to these algorithms, it feels like there's this nihilism that's created, especially now that Elon Musk owns Twitter and he's tweeting hundreds of times a day. I see people becoming increasingly isolationist, saying we shouldn't send funds anywhere overseas. Can you explain to someone my age the importance of USAID and how it affects the work that you do?
Now, thanks for asking that. I agree with you completely that a lot of what's happening to young men and women, different manifestations, but we'll stay focused on young men, is not incidental or accidental. It's intentional. It is to isolate. It's to manipulate. And let's take the issue about foreign aid, something that I've spent a lot of time on, and here in the Clinton Foundation, part of what we do at the Clinton Global Initiative is bring people together who want to solve problems. And why do we in America care whether we get problems solved? Well, let's just take a couple examples. Number one, if you don't stop diseases from crossing borders, they're going to end up here. We saw that with COVID most particularly. We also saw it before with Ebola. We've seen it with SARS in its other manifestations. So we need early warning signals. We need to have American eyes and ears and experts like doctors and nurses and people in labs, knowing what's going on in Asia, what's going on in Africa, what's going on in Latin America. We need to figure out how to help those people, because by helping those people, we help ourselves. Take climate change. It's real, despite what some people might say. And the fact that it is real means that what's happening in another country, another part of the world, can have real world effects on us. If water is rising, we're going to be we are now moving villages in Alaska because they're being inundated. We're going to have noonday flooding in Miami. How do we help places around the world do more to mitigate against climate change? Because by doing that, we build a resilience that will also help us. And think about the economy. When we close the economy, when we have all of these tariffs that are going to end up biting us, that's bad economic policy. And we are setting ourselves up for hurting ourselves with increasing inflation, lower numbers of jobs, and all of the other problems we can foresee. So what happens out there in a world where you are on your phone swiping and reading what's going on out there? Maybe you're even talking or DMing or gaming with somebody out there. It all is interconnected. And we can pretend it's not, but A lot of the people who are manipulating us in the tech companies, on the social media platforms, they don't just do business in the United States. They're all over the world.
Yeah.
They're sending people to work there. They're trying to open markets. And for them to be in any way sending messages that we can be Fortress America, we can be all by ourselves, is so hypocritical. And they need to be called out on it.
USAID was $59 billion a year, and we save probably trillions in disease prevention or diseases that would come to our door. Thank you so much for the time.
I am
appreciate
so
it.
happy to talk to you.
It was amazing.
Yeah, let's stay in touch.
Absolutely.
Okay.